Hello YouTube. The RS is back. It's been away for 4 days and I'm extremely happy to get it back. I had a rental, it was amazing, but I prefer this one. The RS was in service. We had the head gasket fixed, the head as well, and now I got the car back. Today I'm going to talk about a few things. First, the service I had with my dealer and how the car feels. My dealer doesn't usually handle such complex operations, and they were a bit, thank you sir, thank you. Now let us see. My dealer doesn't handle these, so it was a learning experience for them as well. They pretty much established the process on my car, and now we'll have to fix other RS models they have sold. Originally they said they will fix it in 2 days, and I was a bit surprised because 2 days for a job like this is really tight. So if you watched my previous vlog, you'll know I dropped the car on Thursday, and I also made another vlog where I was supposed to pick the car up, but I didn't. And I also promised to make a vlog as soon as I get the car back. So my dealer, exceptional service, no issues so far. I don't have engine light problems, I don't have misfires, I don't feel that the car is worse. I actually feel that the car is different, and different in a good way. What is different? First, turning on the car before the maneuver was extremely brutal. For example, you would turn it on and then you'd had this violent punch and a bit of vibrations. It didn't bother me because at the end of the day it's supposed to be brutal. It's not an S-Class. Second, I used to have a bit of a rough idle. I could feel some vibrations and the rev meter would fluctuate a bit up and down. I blame this on the petrol, simply because there may be that certain petrol stations have a bit more mixture of what you shouldn't use rather than what you should use. And see, I drove off, I didn't put the car, didn't do the usual shebang, sport mode. I completely forgot. This is what happens when you don't have the car for a few days. These things are gone. I also feel that the car is snappier. It's very sensitive now. As soon as you press the accelerator, the car wants to move. It did move before. However, this time it has a very aggressive feel to it. And I'm not saying this because I had a 70 horsepower rental. I'm saying this because I noticed also on my gauges these changes. Before I took the car in, I had a normal temperature on my oil of 70 degrees. So 70 was the operating window, driving normally, not hammering the car. Now if you were to drive a bit more aggressively, then the temperature would climb to 90, 95-ish, but not more. After having the car fixed, my temperatures are a bit different. The car warms up, in terms of oil, of course, warms up higher than the 70 centigrade. And this is when I don't drive it hard. Now, I'm still breaking in the new parts, and I'm not exceeding 2500 RPM for 500, 700 kilometers. So I could not tell you if doing more aggressive driving will push the oil to 100, 100 plus. So this is a topic for another vlog. But so far, this has changed, and I'll keep an eye on it. My coolant level hasn't budged, so I gave them a car with a coolant level a notch under the midpoint. I got a car with the coolant level a notch under the midpoint. I'm paying specific attention to this because any fault in the installation or in the process, I will easily detect it because the car will soon start to heat up. This car has had the head gasket change, the head changed, everything related, and I'm hoping I will not have problems in the future. I'm hoping that the reasons for the head gasket failing and the engine failures due to said head gasket have been fixed. Now we are all aware there are other possible reasons for warped cylinders, for problems in the engine, excessive heat. I'm hopeful if there truly is a different issue with this engine, I'm sure more and more people with recall status complete will be able to chip in, and then the manufacturer will have to implement a different solution. Now this is a big if. I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic, and there you go. It is very, very calm. I used to have a tad of vibrations. So exemplary service from my dealer. They took the car, they didn't know what to do in the beginning, they followed Ford procedures. Sometimes they had to fill in the gaps because Ford wasn't very clear, but this is a matter between them and Ford. And they had to test the car and they retest the car, so I think this was more tested than I was during a medical exam. I also appreciated the fact that the dealer decided to take a longer drive with the car as soon as everything was ready. I did some research on the head gasket issue. I read some threads on the forums, and I'll come back to this later because I'm not the only one reading them. I note many complained they got their head gaskets fixed, they got their recall done, and then they got the car back. What happened? Engine light on, loss of power, cylinder misfire, all these problems. And dealers now are saying they cannot replicate the issue, and are trying to delay fixing because probably they don't understand what went wrong. I have neither of those symptoms. I didn't have any symptoms of coolant issues with my old head gasket, so I consider myself lucky. I am not the norm, I'm the exception. So do not believe that if I make these videos, I saying that everybody should be happy with the car because it's going to be fixed 100%. No, it's a matter of competence, it's a matter of training, and my dealer had to take said training. They had to increase their level of competence. The mechanic that worked on my car, he said, look, these were the first RS I did this job. I did it in the past on a few ST models, but never on an RS. It was extremely difficult, but I'm sure I got the job done. I told him I'm happy, I'm hopeful, but if it's not done, I will come back. And he said, definitely, that is how it's supposed to be. So having clarified the dealer status, the difference I have, and the fact that the car is working, let's move on to item number 2. Everything that is posted on the internet is seen by more than one person. Once people gave the heads up to Ford, look, the car has a problem. Auto outlets took it and look, the car has a problem. A new phenomenon arose. People said, okay, I have a problem. There's a recall. Ford will have to fix it because I am entitled, and rightly so. And what happened? Okay, I'm going to thrash my car. Because hey, I am under the recall period, so if I thrash my car, Ford is going to change everything. And the sad part is that these people who, with this attitude, they're not shy to make it public. And dealerships, even Ford, they are aware of this. They are aware people are abusing the situation. I had a long chat with my mechanic. I summarized some of the items I discussed on an American board. I usually check up on stuff, and they are extremely unhappy. Okay, the Headgasket should have never happened, but it did. We're talking about the real situation. It happened. People are hammering their cars, warm, cold, and they write it in public. Of course, the manufacturer is going to be annoyed and is going to do certain things we don't like. I mean, definitely, you know you have a problem, and instead of taking it easy on the car, people are turning it on in the morning. Oil pump is pushing hard because they have a 5W50. I apologize, an oil that is very flexible but requires a bit of care. And what do? They beat the car down first second with cold oil 5000 and drive like this. Then they do not respect the warm-up procedure and the cool-down procedure. All the damage that happens in this engine due to other things is being blamed on the head gasket. It's a performance engine, it is picky, people need to take care of it. If you take care of all these items, you will not have damage with this beautiful 2.3 EcoBoost. What is the point of abusing this situation? It should not have happened. Lessons learned. We raised awareness. Why are we publishing on the internet, making YouTube videos? Ford is trash. No, this is not how it works in a civilized world. We need to be a bit different and show that, okay, if you're tolerant, you want to get your car fixed, and you keep it.
RTL Trafikinfo mit der Post. Kommt guter sicher durch den Verkehr, bleibt
stop it. If you're tolerant, they will fix it. And I come back to my final point, being tolerant. People want their car fixed. Definitely, I wanted the same. Unfortunately, with no parts, dealerships cannot fix the car. And some customers are extremely aggressive with this. They want the cars fixed. They want them fixed now, and they don't care if parts are in back order. They want it done now. It doesn't work this way, I'm afraid. In a perfect world, Ford would have sent everything out. Everybody would have an abundance of parts. But we are not in a perfect world. Ford didn't send anything out to most dealers. They have to make do with what they have. Therefore, we need to be patient. So my advice, be civil to your dealers, because these mechanics, they have a lot to do. This is a very, very delicate and complex procedure, especially putting back together, not only opening the engine up, to put it back and give it to you in a working order. I noticed that not many clients are talking and asking their dealers, okay, what can we do to help? Is there anything I can do? And they will say, yes, please be patient. I want the car done now. This is not a routine maintenance, guys. It's a unique situation. It stems from lack of parts. Be patient, be civil to your dealer. Work on the trust you have established when you purchase the car. There is no advantages in bashing the car. There is no advantage in bashing your dealer. If you have problems with the car, the dealer would advise you to drive it, but drive it with care. If you are in that situation where it doesn't fail the pressure test that badly, please nurse it for a while. You will have to do it for a month, but you will have a car. You will not have the rental everybody complains about. And if you warm it up, you cool it down, you don't put it on excessive heat with the wrong head gasket, you will see that when you take it to the dealer, damage is going to be minimum, contrary to some of the approaches I've seen on the famous internets. Okay, head gasket issue, bonsai, warm it up, keep it at ludicrous temperatures, don't cool it down. Okay, it's broken, please fix it, head gasket. This is why we can't have nice things. I'm sorry, but now the image of the car is tarnished. The image of the manufacturer. They made a mistake. We made them acknowledge it. Excellent movement, and we should have stopped there. Instead, vlog after vlog. Ford sucks, the RS sucks, it is a bad car. This and that. Oh my god, recall issues. It wasn't handled properly. Indeed, these were things that should have been discussed with the dealers themselves, because they are aware. They are aware they have sold thousands of cars, thousands with the problem. I live extremely close to Saarlouis, and I had no parts for my car. I had to wait a month for 2 items, the high pressure fuel line and another item which I wasn't told what. This is how it is. We need to be optimistic. We need to give the manufacturer a chance to fix it. And if they fail, then we raise awareness again. And then we take things to the other level. I understand this, okay, views, it's, yes, Ford, issues, problems, give me those clicks, but we need to keep a bit of objectivity. It's not about clicks all the time. It's about expressing how things truly are. The car is great. Performance-wise, you pay what you get. Could it have been better? Yes. Could Ford have avoided the head gasket issue? Yes. There's a lot of could here, but not a lot of what we have. So I'm hopeful that moving forward, people are going to post things on a more positive note. People are going to stop bashing the manufacturer. People are going to stop complaining how bad the car is. It isn't that bad. If it's that bad, please sell it. Get a Subaru. Get a Golf R. Plenty of alternatives nowadays. There's plenty of choice, unlike 10 years ago where you were only forced to buy a few brands in Europe. You wanted performance, it was the RS3. You wanted different type of performance, it was the M3. Things are gone. Things are different. Enjoy. And if Ford does another cock up with the recall and our cars are not fixed properly, then we voice concern. We create the movement again, and they will listen. Sorry for the long vlog. I had a few things to say. I'm extremely happy to find that some people have realized there is another way. We shouldn't be extremely aggressive. Mechanics are not to blame only if they mess up with their jobs and then they need to fix it. But they're not to blame for not having the parts. They're not to blame for not being able to be given the chance to fix your car. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. If you didn't make it this far, thanks for looking at the first few seconds of the video. Until next time, and let us not forget, GoPro, start recording.